The topic is choiceless awareness. Choiceless awareness is a term which is most popularly connected with J. Krishnamoorthy. So today we will see what is choiceless awareness. And in spirituality, we use different terms connecting with us different paths or a path, whatever, to the spirituality. So as far as J. Krishnamoorthy is concerned, the most difficult or as commonly believed to follow the path of J. Krishnamoorthy. But maybe it's because of his languages in English and most regional languages who follow tend for difficult for them to follow. Anyway, we'll see what is it. And J. Krishnamurti in his book At the Feet of Master has clearly mentioned in the word there is only two categories of people, those who know and those who do not know. So here we're talking of the or what does it mean to be in the category to be known, or what is the category to be in awareness. So he mentions real and unreal, and what is the real thing and to be in the real area. So here J. Krishnamurti in his talk is talking about choiceless awareness, and in that speech actually is sitting in a valley and delivering the speech. So he mentions that in this valley, how we see this valley, are we really seeing this valley, and how attentive are we there, and we say if we like this valley and if we don't like this valley, then there he says that we are not in an attentive mode because we are connected with an imaging process. How do we say that this valley is beautiful? And if you want to say that, then you have to compare with that. So here he says that about the conditioning mind, and whatever we talk or whatever we see or whatever we think, we are not in the present. So this conditioning mind gives a blurred image of whatever called. We are not actually really having the vision or hearing actually. And when JK has been asked the question, what is meditation? And JK says that before giving an answer to this question, I would like to tell you that first you have to go through two processes. That is, you have to start seeing and hearing. So, by the literal meaning, we would say that we are also seeing and we are also hearing. So he explains the process, what is happening. In one instance, he says that you are seeing a train, and once you see the train, you are not actually seeing the train as attentive as it in the present moment. He says that you will be remembering the instance first you got into the train, and you will be having an imaging process. So you are not seeing it actually. So then, what is the process of seeing and what is the process of hearing? And here he says that we are conditioned. We are conditioned, and we don't have the freedom. We don't have the freedom. And to be free, he says that you have to be free from the known. In the sense, whatever thing, either we are looking to a flower, or we are hearing an ideology, or today we are discussing choiceless awareness. And once you see this term in start hearing, the person who's listening would be having a conditioned mind because he have studied a lot on this topic, and so what will happen is you won't be listening the topic. Gradually, what will be having is you will start comparing whatever thing he have learned in this process. So this is what the in spirituality we give the example of the cup. So once you want to listen something, you want to see something, then we have to make the cup free. But once the cup is filled, then nothing will go inside the cup. So he says that it's freedom from known in the sense we have our subconscious mind is built or wired with certain patterns. The certain patterns means everyone have different. If you ask someone what is God, he is having an answer. And everything. So what is that new for him? So these are learned people have told this. You cannot, or whatever you say, you read a book and you follow it, or you learn a speech, or you listen a speech, then you try to follow it. So here, J.K. clearly mentioned that you should not follow anyone. You should not follow anyone. And if you follow anyone, then you will become a second-hand master. So this is very clear. What they say is that we should be freedom from known. And to be in a meditative mind, as said, we should start seeing as it is and hearing as it is. So these are the daily things which a spiritual seeker can practice in life, and to practice then certain terms which you mentioned, it will be very difficult. It's very difficult because once we say that we have to follow, then we are seeing it into. So J.K. mentions that when you see something or when you listen something, then you see it as true. So he says, who's the observer? Who's the observed? Who is seeing and what is he seeing? So the observer should become the observed. That means he should merge in that process. That means now the hindrance is his thoughts. So he is going on as research point. A person is going daily with 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts. So this is the hindrance. And so he makes a choice. For everything is having a choice. What is his choice? Everything. Let us follow the pattern of a person, either a normal person or a spiritual person. We go through. Is he throwing a choiceless awareness? No. He knows everything. He knows awareness. He knows everything, the term, and who started, and whether it is in Buddhism or whether it is in religion. Everything he knows. See, this is not a new term or anything. If we go a comparative study with all the Upanishad, if we go through the various religions in different countries, if we go through, this is there and this is there, we can find it out. So everywhere this is mentioned. Never follow another person, don't read. These are things actually in initial stages. We cannot say that you should not hear anyone or read anything. So as example in sports, we know in pole vault there is a process. The sportsperson jumps in a big height by using a stick which is called the pole vault. And you have to put the process or the stick in the ground, and after that he jumps the pole by leaving the stick. So this is one good example wherein we have to say that we need the stick actually. So we need book, we need everything. But These are the initial stages we need it actually. So after that, what is happening? We should not catch hold on to that process. To be what you call, you have to be on the process of freedom from no. So the great saints Vivekananda also says the same thing. You should not read more. That doesn't mean you should not read or anything. At a later stage, we have to give up the things. As we know the process of the Guru of Vivekananda, he has done the same also because he was following Kali, the goddess. But at a stage, he was not able to leave over the Kali in his mind. So his Guru Tautagiri came and he struck on his Ajna Chakra, and he was given liberation from, or he was given freedom from that thought of Kali. So that is the way he entered through the choiceless awareness. So even great saints, it has been a difficult process. So of course, if we be on an attentive mood, then it is process. Attentive in the sense every second, we need to have a check on ourselves. Are we following this? So here, to be aware or to be choiceless awareness is the process. The new generation has logged into the terms which we call mindfulness, or living in the present moment. And these are the different terms which we can clamp in or say the same thing. But as JK, or as we follow JK, he has used some certain words continuously at different points. And these are connected words. These are not different words. You say, what is this conditioned mind? Conditioned mind is the process in where we are following the system. And freedom from known is the shackles which we have to break, which we are following. And the observer have to become the observed means we are seeing as everything as true. So what is the essence? What is the essence of what are we doing? This has been mentioned. And if we follow a person, what is he following? Is he following the wealth? Or what is his goal? See, as we say, everything we need to have a goal. And when we say this goal, how that can be attained? And Radha Varnir has given an example. She says that we are traveling in a sailing ship wherein the path we decide according to the movements of the stream. So, a spiritual seeker, similarly, he can catch hold of a stream. So, it is with him actually. So, he can change even at the present moment or any time. And if he becomes this an awareness process. So, no other person, no guru, no book can lead us to this actually. So, these are signposts. Signposts, when you go to a path, that is the process. But we need to be on the side, those who know, on the side of real. And what is real and unreal has been clearly mentioned. Whatever we think, as mentioned in Advaita Master, whatever we think about this present life only is only on the unreal process. Real is something which is what you call permanent, and permanent which cannot be destroyed. So here comes the area where the physics and the quantum physics has developed, and the physics have mentioned about the energy process. So the content of things, energy is something, as we have said, which cannot be created or which cannot be destroyed. Only the form will be changed. So here what is happening, when we look to an object, are we seeing the object in the form, or are we seeing the object which cannot be destroyed, which contains the electron, neutron and they condense in it, electron, neutron, and proton. So the same thing happens in human being. So if we follow the physics and if you follow the quantum physics, there are also the same choiceless awareness processes going on. So if we have in a comparison of Ramana Maharshi, he's also saying the same thing, the same choiceless process. He's saying that, and the examples which we can mention is when the independence struggle was going on. Mahatma Gandhi visited Ramana Maharshi and asked a question, Swamiji, how can we participate in this process of freedom struggle? Then Maharshi told that you're talking about freedom, and my freedom is with me. And Mahatma Gandhi wished Ramana Maharshi and went off from that place. So here, without any action, it's an inaction process in which Ramana Maharshi is following this path. And similar question was asked with J. Krishnamoorthy regarding the violence which is going on in the world war. And in another occasion, when Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated, that time he was taking a class in a place. So he was asked a question similarly. So he says that you have to think, where is this violence? This violence is inside actually. So the same thing Ramana Maharshi says, you cannot see anything which is not inside you. So whatever we are seeing is our reflection. So this is the process. So we condemn violence. And how do we condemn violence? So everyday life, whatever things which we are going around, let it be murder, rape, or whatever accident, the day-to-day process is going. So how do we see it actually? When a news comes, how do we take it actually? And do we say that everything is perfect and all is well and it's a divine plan? Perfectly, if we go in depth, even if we go after with the different theories, then it is clearly mentioned. We go through the law of karma, whatever, life after death, all the basic principles of theosophy. It's there if we go in depth. What is happening in us? And what are we receiving actually? Are we receiving anything from outside? No. Actually, we are the co-creators. And we are that actually. And we are that and we are searching outside. So this is the process wherein we have to analyze and we have to go through. And this term choiceless awareness is a term actually. It's only a term. So it is not a path actually. People think this is a path wherein you can enter and you can climb the ladder. No. So what is the destination and what is the goal actually? It's a pathless path. It's a pathless path. So if you say that this is the path, no. And there is no authority. Theosophy is the area in which there is no authority and freedom of thought is given in theosophy. And in theosophy, we have absolute freedom to discuss different areas, different religions. This is a world over process. So that is where we have to find out how we can, on a daily basis, whether part to be of this violence. When we say that we are not doing anything, as Ramana Maharshi is not doing anything, but he is not perpetuating violence. But what do we say? When we condemn violence, then what we do? We perpetuate it. And in spirituality, the real thing is there's nothing good or bad. And what do we do on a day-to-day basis? We put a choice. Either we will say it's good or it's bad. So in between there is a process. And what is that process? Everything is perfect. And when we say everything is perfect, then we will look around and say that poverty is there, and some is having money, and some is not having money. So here, the same question was asked to Ramana Maharshi. Not a poverty is going around, and shouldn't we do anything? Then Ramana Maharshi says that if you see poverty, then you do it. I don't see any poverty. So this is the perfect thing which we can take, and we need to, what you call, we need to make an inquiry with ourselves, asking the question, are we doing it? See, that is the only thing we have to do. But always we look outside and say that we know choiceless awareness, how many people are following. Then we go on lecturing with people and ask them to do it. Impossible task. It's an impossible task. But we can spread this. We can spread this. In Advaita Master, it is mentioned, it is not through money which you can help others. You have to feed this knowledge. So based on the Master's word, we try to convey this message. But we know how far spirituality can be spread through words, and through five senses it is impossible for a person to receive. And beyond that, when JK is asked a question, most often question is asked raised before JK, he used to say that, how are you asking this question? And when you ask a question, you feel it as two. So once you merge this, when the observer becomes the observed, there will be no question actually. There is absolute silence. So it's only through that silence we can enter this path. So when we say or convey this, experienced persons who had a feeling, or at least they have experienced this, can understand this. For a newcomer, you need to listen, and at a stage you will also come to this process. So this is the beauty, and this is the religious mind, and this is the area wherein which we can experience. So this is something which we experience. So a person listening this, or maybe a person who have not eaten so far pizza in his life, and if I make an explanation of pizza, then pizza or any food. So this is like that. Once you eat that item, then you will say something about pizza, and that will not be what I say then. So this is the way. Experience is a different process, and explanation is a different process. So it's the process of the silence. This can be. So these are the, when we go through the literatures, letter from masters, and if we go through Leadbeater's books, a lot of books are available. So we go through, the crux of it is that on one side the book will say that we are sharing this, and another stage we will say that it is on the experience side. In Theosophy, the masters have helped a lot of people in this process of in the path of spirituality. So that's an esoteric process that is happening or happened, or went on happening in a lot of people have experienced, and that experience goes on them. So I will conclude this talk of choiceless awareness with a special relevance to J. Krishnamoorthy and Theosophical Society. It's a long process for a person. It's a real research work available in Theosophy, wherein a spiritual seeker have to go through, as I have mentioned, and this process is a forward process. We have to be freedom from known. Whatever we have known, we have to shed it off. And in that process, this beautiful process of choiceless awareness will blossom, and whoever having a comment or questions, they can post. I'm free to answer them. And thank you very much. Have a great day.